Welcome. In this video, we'll be discussing different production methods and technologies for lecture capture from your home or office. At the conclusion of this video, you should be able to evaluate potential solutions for lecture capture and delivery, identify the appropriate technologies for your recording environment, and determine most effective means of recording and delivering your lecture materials. Some of the things to consider when deciding what technologies are best for your situation are your subject matter. How is it typically delivered in a face-to-face environment, and how can we translate that to an online modality? Your level of comfort with technology, your recording environment, level of post-production experience or extent to which you'll do your own post-production, lecture capture software, instructor presence, and how students will be accessing the material. Additional considerations include sources of light. You can use natural light if it's lighting your face or a non-reflective surface that you're capturing, but avoid light sources from behind you or light that can cast shadows in your recordings. Potential audio interference, street noise, or landscaping interruptions that could be captured near exterior walls or windows. Microphones placed directly under air conditioning vents, noise from adjacent rooms, etc. Ideally, you want an isolated room with good insulation or sound diffusion. That brings us to room dynamics. Avoid large rooms with bare walls or tile floors. Sound reflects off these surfaces and will create an echo or reverb. Think about how audio behaves in a garage or a public restroom. Ideally, it's best to record in a smaller, carpeted room with some sort of absorbent material on the walls. This might not always be conducive to certain video capture setups where you need space for lighting, a backdrop, etc. And I'll talk more about this later. But if you're just recording voiceover, then you may want to consider something like a walk-in closet. The clothes will absorb and diffuse any echo, resulting in a clean, dry recording. I always tell people that audio is as important, if not more important, than video when it comes to lecture capture. Oftentimes, students multitask or listen to the lecture recordings without continuously viewing their screen. Most devices such as phones, laptops, tablets, etc. have high-resolution video cameras that capture decent video, but the audio is where they really fall short. Clear audio will make it easier for your listeners to interpret and synthesize information, increasing retention. It'll also ensure that the auto captions are generated accurately, in turn making the recordings ADA compliant and allowing students to search and jump directly to points within the recordings based on keywords, or even second language learners relying on the translation of transcripts to reinforce their learning. Bottom line, if you're going to invest in a long-term lecture capture setup, invest in a good microphone. Here we see most of the main methods used to produce video lectures. Talking head allows you to record yourself in addition to the screen and is a great way to increase instructor presence in an online course. Screen capture and voiceover allows you to record audio in conjunction with your slides or screen, similar to what I'm doing here, and is a great option if you're working from a script. It also provides more flexibility for editing and updating your material later on. Annotation and screen capture is great for instructors that typically use the whiteboard or overhead frequently in face-to-face instruction and produces high-quality recordings that are a great option for delivering complex content to students. Discussion or lecture capture is just that, simply recording yourself speaking as you would be when delivering a lecture in class. This is a great option when coupled with additional instructional materials within the learning management system. Green screen is a great method for producing high-quality content and allows for you to immerse yourself within your lecture material, whether it be a capture of your slides, motion graphics, or other video. Demonstrations are great for capturing physical demonstrations or virtual lab situations and are usually just video capture. They can be made interactive using tools like the UJA in-video quizzing feature. Now we'll take an in-depth look at potential technology packages for each of these 6 production methods. Here's a basic or entry-level setup for recording yourself in addition to the screen content from your desk. It includes a USB microphone and webcam that can plug directly into your computer and a small dimmable LED light that can be attached to the tripod to light your face. Recording your video and audio in addition to your screen with free software like UJA will let students choose which view they want to be most prominent on their screen, and will also give them the ability to search based on keywords and even take their own notes within the video. Here's a more advanced setup for recording yourself and screen directly into your computer. Using an HDMI to USB or USB-C converter will allow you to use a higher quality digital camera as a webcam, along with the USB studio condenser microphone, will give you the highest quality video and audio directly into your computer with minimal adapters. Applications like Camtasia will allow you to move and resize your camera capture within the screen, can record multiple audio and video sources, and give you the ability to edit them independently afterwards. Also shown are a boom arm, which can be attached to your desk to position the microphone close to your mouth while staying out of the frame of the camera, an LED panel light, and a pop-up backdrop for a solid white or black background. Here you see a similar setup, but with a higher-end camera kit and microphone, which requires an audio interface to connect to your computer, but will give you more control over your audio input if you have the budget and are comfortable with the technology. Here we see a great entry-level setup for applying voiceovers to screen recordings. This lavalier mic will plug directly into your computer or laptop, and you can use software that is free to you via UCR licensing, like UJA or PowerPoint, to either record your screen and audio or insert your audio into lecture slides and export and publish as a movie file. Here's another basic setup that will allow you to record high-quality voiceovers. The USB microphone, along with the reflection filter, will absorb any echo from your voice and provide a shield from outside noise. Recording into an application like Camtasia will allow you to capture your screen and give you the ability to record your voice after the screen capture, edit out mistakes, and move your audio to match the video. Again, here's a similar setup as the previous for voiceover, just a little higher quality, but requires an additional audio interface as shown here. If you have the need to write or annotate as you lecture, this is a great setup using an existing iPad. A wired lavalier with the lightning connection shown here is an inexpensive way to get great audio, as microphones on iPads are not the best. Plus, you definitely don't want to rely on the built-in mic to capture your voice while you're annotating, because it'll pick up the impact of your stylus every time it hits the screen. This wireless option will give you more flexibility to move freely with the iPad without being tethered to it. An application like OneNote, which is part of the Office 365 suite, will allow you to record your screen along with the annotation and voice, then edit it and package it to be delivered to your students. Here we see more affordable alternatives to the iPad. These touchscreen displays serve as secondary screens that can allow you to plug directly into your computer and annotate over any existing files. Using a USB lavalier or condenser microphone will allow for clean voiceover. The touch displays shown here are the Gauman and the XP Pen. The pricing and links for these and all technologies covered in this video will be made available in a separate PDF. The UCR Excite team also has condenser microphones available for faculty to check out. In this annotation setup, we have a 24-inch Cintiq pen and touch display, which offers a much wider canvas. The Cintiq connects to your computer and acts as a secondary display, which allows you to use your primary display to stage any assets that you'd like to drag over and annotate during your recording. The high-quality USB mic and boom arm will help capture clean audio while keeping a good distance from the screen to minimize capturing the sound of the stylus hitting the surface. Capturing your screen using software like Explain Everything will give you a ton of flexibility when it comes to structuring and editing your lectures. If you simply need to record yourself or video chat from your desk, then a setup like this might work. A decent webcam, a wired lavalier connected to your computer along with an LED light will give you the quality beyond that of a built-in camera and microphone that your students will appreciate. The example shown here is a simple classroom capture of a lecture on a whiteboard. Keep in mind that with this approach, your back will be to your audience most of the time, and you'll be obscuring what you're writing, making it difficult for viewers to see. I would reserve this mode of production for material that is delivered orally by the instructor, with no need to display additional materials on the screen. This setup will allow you to move and position your camera to record on an iPad. By attaching a shoot-through light ring, you'll always have adequate lighting if your subject is close to the camera. There's also the same option available for recording on your phone. Using a lavalier with a lightning connection will capture high-quality audio while minimizing background noise. I'd recommend this wireless option so that you have the freedom to walk within the range of the camera. You can also try pairing an existing Bluetooth microphone with your phone or tablet, but may sacrifice some audio quality by doing so. For capturing video of yourself lecturing in a larger room, or if you anticipate moving around frequently throughout the recording, then you may want to consider a PTZ or pan-tilt zoom camera. This camera has auto-tracking functionality, allows for preset zoom and camera angles if you have points within the room that you'll be presenting from, and even has gesture control, so you can prompt it to do things like zoom in and out with simple hand gestures. This compact version is currently listed at $200. Using a wireless lavalier with a USB receiver will allow you to record directly into your computer, or you can use something like this wireless lavalier and record into your phone if you don't mind syncing the audio and video using video editing software. Green screen is by far the most complex as far as the production methods covered in this video. However, it can be very powerful if you have a basic understanding of lighting, camera operation, and don't mind doing your own video processing and editing. The kit shown here will work if you don't plan on moving and just want to capture yourself from the waist up, but want the ability to superimpose anything in the background. This pop-up green screen backdrop is just large enough to place behind you if you're sitting at a desk and want the talking head or picture-in-picture look. You will definitely need 2 lights to ensure that the backdrop is evenly lit and eliminate any shadows. An unevenly lit green screen will cause a ton of extra work in post-production, so it's worth investing in good lighting. These lights come with diffusers to allow for soft, evenly distributed light. A DSLR camera with at least 1080 resolution is preferred, and you can either use a microphone that plugs directly into your camera like this mini shotgun mic if you intend on being within close proximity, or go with a wireless option that is also connected to your camera. This setup requires importing the video from your camera into your computer and will also require keying out the green background and inserting the new background using editing software such as Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, or Camtasia. Here's a more advanced green screen setup including a camera that can record up to 6K resolution, a premium wireless lavalier, a tripod, a wide backdrop stand, and adjustable lights that will allow you to capture your entire body and remove the background, and a roll of seamless background paper. I prefer using paper as opposed to cloth because you don't have to worry about wrinkles and creases, and a smooth, even background keys out much easier in post-production. If you're going for a high-quality green screen setup but don't have the space for all the lighting, then there's a new technology available called ChromaFlex by Reflect Media. Using a special cloth embedded with tiny dish-shaped mirrors, light emitted from these LED rings, which are mounted around the camera lens, illuminate the cloth and reflect the colored light directly back into the camera, creating a vivid, evenly lit backdrop. Typically with green screen, the subject would have to be several feet away from the green screen to avoid the green from reflecting onto the subject, but with this technology, the subject can be as close to the background as they want, making it an ideal solution for tight spaces. This backdrop also eliminates the need for bulky lights and stands. However, you'll still want to light yourself in the foreground with something like this dimmable LED wand. Here's a simple setup for recording demonstrations with your phone or iPad. It is pretty much the same as the basic discussion lecture capture kit covered earlier. What's nice about this setup is it has a flexible gooseneck that can be adjusted to any angle, so you can quickly transition from capturing yourself to angling it down to capture items on your desk or in a lab. Another kit that's ideal for recording demonstrations includes this mirrorless camera with an articulating display so that you can see what's being recorded while standing in front, a good quality shoot-through LED ring light, a premium wireless lavalier mic, and a fluid head video tripod. The fluid head is important for capturing smooth panning and tilting motion when tracking the subject, but requires a dedicated camera operator. Unless you plan to frame and record several shots separately, then combine them via post-production editing. When all else fails, always have a backup device for last-minute synchronous lecture sessions. Here you see ingenuity at its finest. A phone that has been rigged with a ruler and some rubber bands to serve as a makeshift document camera. Most phones have high-resolution cameras capable of capturing video that is good enough to get the job done. There are affordable phone attachments that allow you to position your phone to frame and capture video, such as the overhead document camera mount and flexible tripod shown here. A flexible tripod and a microphone that works with your phone are good investments if you're teaching online and plan on producing a fair amount of video content. Here we have your standard desktop lecture capture setup. As mentioned before, a carpeted room is preferred to minimize echo or reverb, and some form of absorbent material is recommended for bare walls that are parallel to one another. This will diffuse sound and prevent it from echoing back and forth between the bare surfaces. Set up your camera at eye level and position your lights at 45-degree angles towards your face if possible. If you have 2 lights facing you, pull one slightly further back on the other side of your face, but still at a 45-degree angle as shown, to fill any harsh shadows. Finally, avoid too much light from behind your subject. This will overexpose the background depending on your camera, causing it to overcompensate and reduce the exposure on the subject or person, resulting in them being dark or underexposed. If you don't have video lights, you can maximize the use of natural light in the room by positioning yourself or subject at a 45-degree angle to the natural light source. Otherwise, block out any unneeded natural light and position your video lights as shown. Finally, your mic placement should be no further than 2 to 3 feet away from your subject's mouth. As mentioned earlier, you may need a boom arm to position the mic out of the frame, or run a lavalier mic under your clothes if you're capturing yourself on video, unless you don't mind the mic being in the shot. Here's a quick example of how to properly light your subject against a standard green screen. As you can see here, positioning the light directly in front of the subjects will cast shadows within the camera's frame. Here they are angled to avoid shadows within the frame, and I typically recommend pulling the subject at least 6 feet away from the screen to prevent the green reflection from spilling onto them, and using a light on each side of the screen behind the subject to fill in any of the shadows. Now we'll take a quick look at some of the common video editing software applications. iMovie. iMovie typically comes installed on Mac systems and is a great introduction into the world of post-production. It has all of the basic functionality that you need to get started and has a user-friendly graphical interface, but is available for Mac users only. Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark has a simple and clean user interface, allows you to quickly add videos and photos to themed templates, and share and publish them to the web. There's a free 30-day trial available, or $10 a month for the full version. Desktop and mobile versions are also available and easy to use. Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere is the high-end industry standard with all of the features and functionality that you'll ever need, but does have a learning curve. Since it's the industry standard, there's a ton of resources openly available to help get you started. The student cost is $20 a month for the full Adobe Creative Suite, and there's a free 7-day trial available. Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro is professional-level editing software with an easy-to-use interface that is similar to iMovie. So if you're already familiar with iMovie and looking for more advanced functionality, then this is the logical next step. There's a 90-day free trial available and a one-time purchase fee of $2.99 to buy, but it's for Mac users only. Movavi. Movavi is a simplified version of iMovie for PC users, since Windows Movie Maker was discontinued. It's also available for Mac and offers an in-browser editor. There's a free trial and educational version available, and it's $80 to purchase the full version. Yuja. Yuja is fully licensed by UCR and is integrated into iLearn or Blackboard and eLearn or Canvas. Yuja is now our new campus streaming media server. All videos, regardless of how they were produced, should be uploaded to your individual Yuja user account. This way you can search all of your videos and publish them directly to your course within a few simple clicks, without having to upload your videos to multiple locations. Yuja also offers built-in screen and video capture, as shown here, an in-browser editor, the ability to insert auto-graded quiz questions within your videos, auto-captioning, and advanced user analytics so that instructors can see who is viewing what. Camtasia. Camtasia is a user-friendly application that allows you to capture your screen and any camera or audio inputs through your computer simultaneously, and then edit them independently afterwards. This makes it a perfect tool for lecture capture because you can choose when you want yourself to be full screen and when you want the content to be front and center. You can even maximize and place yourself anywhere within the screen capture as picture-in-picture so that students can see you talking as you cover your lecture material on the screen, maintaining that instructor presence. Now let's summarize some of the main technologies that we covered and identify the strengths and weaknesses of each when considering the best solution for your needs. Webcams are good for the talking head method if sitting at a desk and you don't plan on moving while lecturing. I didn't cover camcorders since this video is geared towards technology for smaller home lecture capture studios, but they can be good in large lecture halls where zoom is needed, however requires someone to operate the camera. DSLRs are great for quality and flexibility, and in my mind they are replacing camcorders since the autofocus functionality has now evolved due to widespread use for video, whereas before they were primarily used for photography. PTZ cameras are great for large areas where the presenter is moving and can track or be programmed to pan and zoom to preset areas, but tracking and focus can be unreliable if not configured correctly. Most times this isn't discovered until reviewing the recording since there's no visual display to see what's being recorded. To summarize the microphones covered, USB condenser microphones are good for close proximity in quiet spaces and direct connection to your computer, but they don't do so well with background noise and requires you to be stationary as a presenter. Wired lavalier mics are great for good sound quality and limit background noise, but do restrict your movement depending on what they're connected to. Wireless lavaliers are great for high-quality audio, but can take some time to set up correctly. Shotgun microphones are great for high quality, good for recording small groups of presenters, and ignore background noise, but are expensive and can be intrusive when it comes to placement. Videos can be an effective tool in your teaching toolkit. When incorporating videos into a lesson, it's important to keep in mind the three components of cognitive load, elements that impact engagement, and elements that promote active learning. Luckily, consideration of these elements converges on a few recommendations. Keep videos brief and targeted on learning goals. Use audio and visual elements to convey appropriate parts of an explanation. Make them complementary rather than redundant. Use signaling or visual cues to highlight important ideas or concepts. Use a conversational, enthusiastic style to enhance engagement. Embed videos in a context of active learning by using guiding questions, interactive elements, or associated homework assignments. I hope to have provided more ideas in determining possibilities and applications for video in your course. All of the technologies covered and pricing are available in an attached PDF. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or need support moving forward, and thanks for watching.